Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the forever fantastic, always supreme GeekCypha podcast. And we have a special... Yes, that's true. Wait, I think I do have sound effects. We never used them. Let's do it just this once. Oh, it's the kids one. That's definitely the wrong one. Let's use the...
No, that's some Charlie Brown stuff. Leave that
Actually,
one.
Yeah, that's good.
I was about to say,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Guys, we are going to be talking about a film that there are some online who are debating could be the greatest superhero film ever made. There are some who are arguing that it is woke trash. And then there are normal people who appreciate the film for what it is. And that sounds judgmental, because I am. I am slightly judgmental. But let's start it off. We have a guest with us this week, as I mentioned on my stories, and you might have seen his story, Superman super fan. I used Uberfan because I was going for the correct. I don't know if you guys have heard this debate that Superman should technically be called Uberman because
Uberman,
where he's called Overman in Germany,
right? Because the root word of super is not super and man are not in the same. One is Germanic and one is Latin, so people say technically Superman should be called Uberman. But
what about
I digress.
The Ubermensch?
The Ubermensch. I digress. Forget all that. We got a fan. yeah. I don't think any of us want to call him Ubermensch. But I'll let you introduce yourself. Good.
Oh
sir.
wow, this is putting me on the spot here. I wasn't
Oh no. Did we
ready
really
for this? But I am going to introduce myself. I am Derrick, or at Podge Vagabond at the bottom, if you want to call me that. Whatever. That's just my handle on socials. And I am a super fan. Like I'm got some tattoos. I got my cave downstairs is like filled with graphic novels and books. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. This is going to be awesome.
how many of the S's do you have on your tattoo?
I have 4.
That's what I thought.
Wow. You have 4 Superman S's on your
4
body?
variations of the Superman S. Yes.
Oh wow. Which one's your favorite? Actually, let's start off with that.
Man of Steel is my favorite. Actually, my favorite tattoo. I'll show you guys
Okay.
If you guys could see it, could you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sick.
The Man of Steel S. Okay, cool. How did you feel? Because you're wearing a Kingdom Come shirt right now.
I am.
Those of you who are listening, Kingdom Come, a Alex Ross drawn comic book that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. No,
I'll check my notes. I don't have it in the notes though. Unfortunately.
I want to say late 90s.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it's early 2000s now because I know that. Actually, let me just look it up. But Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
A fantastic
96.
title, and I have my copy of Kingdom Come
96?
signed by
Yep, 96.
90s. Oh, it is the
that's
90s.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's when
that
it
feels
first came
crazy.
out.
I have my Kingdom Come trade paperback signed by Alex Ross. So,
Oh, that's right. That's nice.
yeah, that was pretty sweet. So where do we begin with this film?
I was about to say, like, or should we begin completely in the middle, just like they did at the beginning of the movie, which is what I want to address first. I love that this movie has been doing something I've been begging to do for years with Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. I'll say, not the X-Men, but with Wolverine, I will say I'm tired of it. You guys James Bond it. Yes, you did a bit of a prefix to say we're at least here in time to like give an appreciation of like, you know, it's the first of like a series of movies.
Wait, are you about to spoil,
Oh, I'm spoiling.
folks?
Damn.
Strap in,
Wow.
people.
Spoiling right off jump. We don't have time.
Literally
Folks.
5 seconds in.
Wow,
Yeah,
Dave.
let's give a quick warning. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, we are about to spoil the out of this movie. This is going to be a Superman review. We're going to be talking about the film, the acting, every single element. And our guest here, Derrick, has done some deep research to also have references for all the
Pages.
stuff, literally pages of stuff.
Came prepared.
So,
Better than us.
yeah, we are going to be going deep on this Superman storyline, arc, lore. So if you are a fan and you have not seen the film, I still think you could watch this. It'll get ruined for you, but it'll be a fun listen. But if you want to wait, I would highly recommend at the 5-minute mark, that's when you pause, you go watch the movie, and you come back.
Definitely
Spoilers
watch
are
the
up.
movie. Definitely watch the movie.
Fact that
Before
they
Dave starts, I want to say spoiler first. First spoiler. The teaser picture was a lie.
The teaser picture was a lie. Was a lie.
The teaser picture?
was a lie.
Which
It's
teaser
him
picture?
putting on his boots, and then some blurry thing
It's
is going
fighting
on in the
but
background.
he's having a conversation.
That's-
Yeah, we don't see him
that's
get
all I wanted-
changed. We never see him get changed.
No, but the
Go on,
fact,
Dave.
my one thing I just want to say, and then we could jump into any other topic you guys want, but the fact that they James Bond this by just saying, hey, you know, this is our first movie. We're not going to do all this stuff. This happened years ago. This happened now. This is where you are now. This is where we are. This is all you need to know, and just jump into it. And they James Bond. They didn't explain any other character. I freaking loved it.
I would say even more so than James Bond. I think using the kind of information at the top was very Star Wars.
It was.
Yeah, very Star Wars.
It was James Bond meets Star Wars. How's this not a great movie?
Okay.
I actually I heard a rumor about that. I heard a rumor about the scrolling screen, and I really thought they might have used that exactly like Star Wars. Maybe not exactly like, but it's scrolling upwards. I thought we were going to get that, and I'm happy with what we got. Either way, that's all I got to say about that little thing there.
I thought it was cool.
thing-
Sorry, Jawz.
Something I really liked about the beginning is that we see him hurt. You don't give a crap about a hero unless he's hurt. We don't give a crap about the main character from Die Hard unless he's walking on glass and he's barefoot walking on glass, and now he's tracking blood everywhere. I like the fact that it starts off, oh, hey, this happened 300 years ago. This happened 30 years ago from now. And right now he's getting his ass kicked. All right, let's jump in.
So for you guys, when you were watching the film and it starts off with, like Jawz said, him being injured.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for any of us who are Superman fans, and again, Ness, I know you and I talked about the fact that we were not the biggest Superman fans. Specifically, and I know, Derek, just to explain, I mean, you've probably heard us, but Ness, I'll let you take it because we did talk about this.
Yeah, I need to hear this.
Well, I don't want to get into why I don't like Superman.
I mean, I
All I
can
have
get
to
into
That'd be
it.
great. I really want to know that. I love it when people tell me they don't like Superman because it gives me a chance to convince them.
We can talk about it. But I want to say, as a certified Superman hater,
Okay.
I have to say that this movie was a redemption movie for me.
Yeah.
And it made me like him a little bit more.
Right.
See, there's
Okay.
hope. There's hope there, and Superman instills hope.
It's on the freaking symbol. It's on
It's
his
the
chest.
symbol on his chest. So my thing, and I said this last week when we had Akeem on for a quick minute. My thing with Superman is not that Superman himself is a bad character, and I've gone in more in depth with this in the past. When Superman first was created, there was a lot of kids who read Superman. So all the way back 1932, I think. 38. Thank you.
38.
So 1938, you are after the stock market crash. There's a crazy world. We're right before World War II is like cusping.
Cusping in the starting to become.
Yeah. So things are like politically kind of tense, like kind of a very interesting time for Superman to come back to, if you're thinking about the parallels between then and now. And when he came out at that time, a lot of young people who are very excited listened to the serials on the radio or read or saw the comic strips or read Action Comics. And they got this introduction of this character that they loved. And then that generation grew up and they started writing Superman, and they wrote Superman even bigger than he was. And then another generation grew up and they wrote Superman bigger than he was. And by the time I come along in the 90s, Superman is almost omnipotent, can't be defeated by anybody. Like the way they were writing him at the time is it's like magic or kryptonite every chance they get that are kind of slowing him down. And you're not getting like, he couldn't fly when he first started. By the time I'm reading him in the 90s, he's able to fly in space far distances without breathing. Like there's just these little elements that have been added to the lore and added to his strength that at the time, by a certain time, I personally felt that he was so OP that it wasn't interesting to watch him fight anyone. There's not a chance to... There's no stakes if you know Superman essentially, even in his worst day, if he gets beat up, as long as he can get some good sunlight, this man is back in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that this movie, and I'm about to spoil something. I'm about to spoil a pretty big part. So again, I'm looking right in the camera. If you're watching or listening to this, I'm about to spoil something really cool. When the trailer showed him knocked down, my first thought was, how the did Superman get beat? Like Superman, there's no one on Earth at this point that can beat Superman. And I was just like, okay, you've got me interested, Gunn. You did the one thing I was worried people weren't going to be able to do when they came back to write Superman again. I wasn't going to be able to find any interest in the character because he's just going to be, again, an Uberman. He's undefeatable.
Well, you could go back to maybe they took a little bit of Superman the animated series from the 90s, because in that series he was really depowered, where he'd be getting like electrocuted by these like gadgets and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is a little more interesting. Or they had Livewire, who was just like throw some water on her and she's defeated, so I like that he did his research, it looks like.
Yes that's the thing. So James Gunn is the type of person that I feel does their research when it comes to a character or any group of characters, because we saw it with Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know how many issues he read of Guardians, but I like that it felt like I was reading some of the Guardian of the Galaxy comic books. Like Star-Lord was solid, Mantis was solid, so he has that gift. And also as a producer of, I think it's called, is it Birthright? Who's the like really creepy, because he produced a Superman style story about an evil kid.
Oh, it's Brightburn.
Brightburn, not Birthright. Sorry, that's a whole other thing.
Birthright is a whole other thing. Very good read, by the way.
But Brightburn, like that, like when you see that I know he didn't direct it, but he produced it, and you can kind of see his interest in superhero stuff, and it was a darker take, very Homeland as a kid type story. Homelander as a kid type story. So when you get to this, it's super interesting. And again, we're starting off with him being beat. And then you find out the reason he's beat. I'm scared to even say it because, again, I don't want to spoil this too much. But the only reason he got beat is because of obsession.
Yep.
Lex Luthor was so obsessed with Superman that he...
2025 is the year to hater. Let's say that. It's the year
Honestly,
to hater.
Lex Luthor and Kendrick, like
Having a good run. The greatest run.
the fact that you could beat someone not because you are a better fighter, but you memorize their fighting style and what they go to, and that you were prepared for every. And don't forget, Superman is a speedster. He's not fighting slow. That's the other thing that when I was watching this movie, I kept thinking to myself, Lex Luthor can anticipate Superman's movements even when Superman is a speedster, because Superman is so predictable. And I almost felt like James Gunn was doing a nod to the idea that Superman is so boring that someone who's analyzed him could beat him.
Oh, stop.
No. I'm not,
true.
I'm
Lex
not,
is a genius.
You're right.
He's rival. He's one of the top geniuses on the whole planet Earth. So he would do something so like, sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? Precise. Yes. To try to defeat Superman with brains over brawn. Like he even says it in the movie. Right. And there are a lot of people who are saying they're confused by Lex's motives, and
how?
It can't be more obvious to me what his motives are.
I feel it's more that, you know what it is? Because one of my friends, when I went to go see the movie, he's like, oh, at first I was a little jarred because like we knew exactly where Superman was, but like we didn't know where Lex was. But that was the point. You knew where Superman was, and at the end they tell you the whole reason. Mm-hmm. It's perfectly fine. But just to quickly speak about the beginning, one thing that was strong about this film, first of all, I like that the big like teaser thing of like, oh, I fell, I'm hurt, Crypto, take my cape. The fact that that's the first thing you saw in the movie, and for a long period of time that was your only advertisement, and a lot of people just like me are like, oh man, this is like halfway through the movie, it's gonna be like an epic moment, you're showing me something that's epic before it happens, you're like, it's the first freaking thing you see, and then you're like, you got me interested because what's happened. Crypto is awesome to see because you finally put Crypto in a movie. And then you bring me to the Fortress of Solitude, which I'm going to say, and this is one reason why I think this is one of the best, if not the best Superman movies. In this movie, there's a lot of bests. They have the best. Example, they have the best Crypto because no one else did a Crypto. Really. Yeah. You have the best.
You mean live action?
Like live action. Yeah. Sorry, live action.
No,
you have the best Fortress of Solitude. That was an
Yeah,
amazing Fortress of Solitude.
arguably his best fortress. I like Superman Returns Fortress of Solitude very much, the way it blended into the ice.
Yeah.
And there was kind of like just like this crater going through and it led into the fortress. Anyway, I'm going way off topic here.
I personally did like Man of Steel just because it was just so different and alien,
Mhm.
and it wasn't kind of
That's true.
harkening back. It was doing its own thing, and it was just like, woo, I want to see more Krypton and da-da-da. But
Yeah.
I do agree this was really, after not having old school and what you would think the actual Fortress of Solitude would look like, it was a nice go back and a new take on it as well.
But
Yeah.
it's also, I found it the most comic-y. Sorry.
Oh, comic-y? Yeah, I wanted to give mine. I also think this one was one of the best ones, but I do agree with Jawz that that's a real, like, I like the idea that as much as I shit on him, Snyder was trying to do something slightly different, but I think one of the reasons that Gunn was able to do one that was kind of a nod to the classic, especially because he was doing so much that was a nod to the Donner movies, is that because we didn't have the Donner look for a while, we were like, yeah, I'm good. Bring it back. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were about.
Yeah, they brought back the crystals and everything. The crystal technology, which was completely omitted from Man of Steel, was very much advanced robots or like sentient robots, kind of. And going right back to the crystals and stuff, especially the way it was hidden. That is finally explained. Where it's like, how could the government? Every government would know if he had a fortress there. You could see it. Whereas now it hides in the ground. So I thought that was a nice touch.
Wait, does that happen in the comic book?
No,
right? Okay, that's what I thought. It doesn't hide in the comic book.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
It's there. And in early comics, he had a giant key that would point to the door. Even
the only way you would get in is that he has to pick up the key because it's so heavy.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was like a metric ton or something that like no one else on Earth could lift.
Yeah,
but like I don't know. What else? Where do you guys want to go with?
Well,
there's so much to talk about this movie. I don't.
There really is.
I would say I'm okay with starting from the beginning. So again, even like we were saying, 3 centuries ago, the first superpowered beings known as metahumans appeared on Earth, ushering in a new era of gods and monsters. I think it's very important that we got the nod to the gods and monsters era. From what we understand, Gunn is planning to do a decade of films and series set in the gods and monsters world. Also, Superman, Justice League Gods and Monsters, if I'm not mistaken, was a trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah, trilogy of projects that had them be different, though, right? Was like Elseworld type stories where like Batman's a vampire, Superman is like Zod.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stan Lee wrote one of those, and I have that signed by Stan Lee.
So I kind of like, like it's stuff like that if you're a nerd, that Gunn is also one. Like to nod to gods and monsters, to nod to like Donner, like he's doing a bunch of little things that as super fans we might recognize. 3 decades ago, I'm sorry, I'm reading this as it comes up on my screen. 3 decades ago, an extraterrestrial baby was sent in a spacecraft to Earth and adopted by Kansas farmers. Maybe we can go there for a second, because Dave and I were talking about this a little bit before, and Dave had some comments about Mama and Papa Kent.
Oh, right.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
So we're gonna talk about one.
About Ma.
Oh wait, what'd you say, Jawz?
I wonder if it's more so about Ma.
Oh, it's about both of them.
Okay, interesting.
Both of them are on the burner equally. So one of the things I didn't like about the movie was the interpretation of his parents, and I came to the epiphany of why. I will describe it simply. First of all, they seemed more like grandparents than parents, just like how they were I don't like the depiction because of a few things. One, they acted more like grandparents than parents. The father, although super loving, I give him I'm not saying anything bad about the acting about being like a good father or whatever like that. I'm just saying all due respect, sir, you don't look like a guy who's been a farmer for 30 years. You do not have the build.
You're body shaming.
No, not body shaming. No,
Thank you.
You could
what
do
he
that.
told me to do.
As much as you want.
My
Park
first thought,
has never been described that way. You know it, and we all know that farmers have a tendency to be built. It's not a jab. It's trying to be realistic.
Yeah, Dave. But 3 years ago, Superman appears in the movie, right? But 3 years ago, from what time? Did he appear in 2022? They have technology now, Dave, on farms.
Good
and
thing.
he can be a lazy farmer.
No, that's great. Technology on farms. So then why is his mom screaming into the phone, bending over herself, who's probably been to the Fortress of Solitude and knows how to turn on a phone? So yes, they are grandparents.
I like
Oh, Dave, I gotta say this. In Superman 1, they are very old.
Yeah.
First of all, when they
Did you listen?
Pa Kent actually dies when Superman is 18, and that's what makes him go off into the world and learn and become Superman. In this one, who's to say when they found him? They could have been, they tried to have kids, they didn't work out, and they're in their 50s, when they find him, and now he's a 30-year-old man. Yeah, like maybe in their 40s, even younger.
I just want to get to Jawz real quick. Jawz, what were you about to say?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, Derek.
Like at some point when Ma is talking, and and Pa's in the shot, and she has him on speakerphone, and then Pa speaks, but it sounds like he's a little tired and stuff. I was like, oh God, is Pa gonna die? Is he? Is he
that would have been an interesting twist.
I got worried, and then he come back and he talked to him, and he's like walking down the stairs, and he's all like, like I agree. I kind of agree with Dave that they're depicted as much older.
Yeah,
I do agree with that, but maybe that's the point. Or
I wanted to ask this: do we think that, and I don't think Gunn did this on purpose, but do you think because we've been made accustomed to younger looking adults in these stories, like Marissa Tomei, Ness, you look like you wanted to say it. I'll let you hit it because.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I haven't read the comics, so I don't really know the backstory of Superman. But
that's what I'm here for.
But I feel like they made the parents that way to kind of make us feel, not relate, but like. I don't know this. Like they want us to. I think to feel like this warm feeling of like, oh, like they're so cute. Like they don't know how to use technology, and like, but they care about Superman. They want what's best for him. Like, I think that's where he was going. That's what I got.
They want him to come visit because he hasn't visited in a while.
Yeah, like I think it was supposed to get us like gushy, like like so cute.
Those are great. That's a great point.
Complete opposite. Not me. I just had complete hate of like why my grandfather who fought in World War II, God bless his soul, he passed away last year, knew how to use a cell phone, and he didn't scream into it like a lunatic.
I mean, what threw me off was that Ma's Southern accent was way more pronounced than Pa's. And then I was like, is that necessarily a Kansas thing, or is it just Gunn leaning into his southern bit a bit just to make it more homely and stuff like that? The thing I would definitely give the parents is that they definitely care for him, and I think Gunn has a running theme regardless of where he is that it doesn't matter who your birth parents were.
Right.
We're your parents now.
Yeah.
And we're trying to tell you to do what's right.
Whether
that message is always there. It's never changed, the Kent's message. In every iteration, I would say the Kents always have the best intentions.
Yeah.
More or less. I'm probably going to be proven wrong at some point by somebody online, but.
But like with Gunn, it's whether it's found family or it's like found parents. They often when we go back to Yondu with Peter, that is like, I'm your fault. Like that.
He might be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I teared up at that scene because it really is an important message that Gunn likes to keep. We got that in the second movie, the first movie, it's the second movie that we get that.
Volume 1. Yeah. Volume 2.
Volume 2. Yeah. And then the third one where we get Rocket's background and Rocket's found family and we kind of get an understanding of why Rocket's so bitter. And then his newfound family is just like, we're not giving up on you. So Gunn likes to touch on this a lot, these family and the importance of family. And that's why with this family, and I think Ness was I kind of get what Ness was saying because I kind of had that sentiment too. That's why I didn't say anything when you said it earlier before we jumped on. I do feel like we were being given Ma and Pa Kent like blankets on a porch.
Yeah.
I get that they look older, but that's kind of middle America warm, that kind of like.
I feel like they were trying to show the soft side of Superman, and that was a way of doing it, was showing how his parents are like these regular oldies who like
the bench they're sitting on the bench and it's rusted.
I didn't call them names.
I do think it was a way to show Superman's soft side for sure.
And I do I really enjoyed the pep talk that Pa Kent gave him. I got misty eyed and I was like, this is so much better than, you know what, son? fuck him. I don't. You can save him
So I don't know if I've gone on record on this podcast talking about it, but I have a really, really strong emotional reaction to Costner's self-sacrifice scene in Man of Steel. And a lot of people have compared that scene to the, like, instead of just leaving your son to fend for himself, this Pa Kent kind of talks his son through one of the hardest things he's ever gone through. Because remember, at the point when this is happening, and I can only imagine how this felt like for the parents, he's never been defeated, right? Because I'll read the next two parts, but 3 years ago, the baby had now grown, announced himself as Superman, the most powerful metahuman of all time. He's never been defeated in 3 years, and his parents know they don't have to worry about him. They've never had to. So, you know, after he gets involved in a very political thing, there's people online hating on him. But again, we know the parents didn't really see that because, as Dave likes to point out, they're not technologically informed. So there's a good.
Probably didn't know how to turn on the TV.
Yeah, they probably
check it out.
But
they wanted their ham radio and realized that no one was on the other side.
But
hey, Dave, they had a flat screen TV in that movie, and you know it.
Yeah,
it was small. Fair. It was tiny. It was like it was an old ass TV. They got it. They had to get HD, they had to get an HDMI cable because the cable box was changing up, and they're like, you got to get a new TV. And he was like, here you go. And it's small.
That's
it's
so
tiny.
funny.
That's like the first one.
The Fortress of Solitude. They should know how to use basic communication.
I don't think they've been there in this movie.
Yeah,
I don't think they've been there.
Okay, but
I agree.
Here's the thing.
I didn't see any winter jackets.
Yeah,
I'll put it this way. Had they even leaned once in the movie about super hearing, which the one power they negated the whole movie was super
true,
hearing.
huh? That's true.
Had you
it's true.
shown me even one person that he listened to at a distance, I've been like, cool. The reason why they don't know how to use the phone is because they probably just talk out loud and he comes. Would be cool, but you never did.
That's a good point. That's
right,
funny.
but you never did.
He uses super smell in the movie, but not a super hearing.
Right? Yeah, honestly, there's like okay. I'll finish reading this before I mention it. 3 hours ago, so this is the next line after the 3 years. Then 3 years ago, he got involved in a political issue. 3 hours ago, a metahuman called the Hammer of Boravia attacked Superman in the city of Metropolis. And again, so this is the first time that he's lost. And then 3 minutes ago, he was defeated for the first time ever.
Existential crisis.
And as a parent, with a kid that grew up not even getting hurt when he stuck his hand in the tractor, you know what I mean?
He broke the tractor.
The tractor broke on him.
Yeah.
I'm now freaking out. You know, Pa Kent's freaking out, Ma Kent's freaking out. They don't really show that side because they're really sticking to Superman's story, which is fine. But by the time they finally do get in contact with him, I mean, they know he's okay because he released an article and blah, blah, blah. But there's still a sense of, you know, maybe his pride is hurt. So it's stuff like that I'm finding interesting, with these parents that I would have maybe explored a little bit. Not a complaint, but just a thought.
I don't know. I don't think his pride was hurt because he was just like, Crypto, get me home to the Fortress of Solitude. I just soak up some sun and get back at this guy. He's just like, I don't get back in there. And I don't think time and time again in the movie, he doesn't wait for himself to be 100%. He's just like, give me a little something.
83, yeah.
And I'm going. I got to do something.
And I guess you're right because I was saying I don't think his pride was hurt, but as a parent who's been watching this undefeatable son run around, the first time he gets defeated, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I would still think for a second, is he okay mentally? Because he's never had to deal with that emotion of losing a fight, you know? He's faked losing a fight when he was a kid, so that's not really his pride because he was just doing that for the gram. But now here we are, and he's actually losing to the Hammer of Boravia. So his defeat, we see him brought into the fortress by a psychopathic Crypto.
Yes.
How do people feel about Crypto? Because Crypto's crazy to me.
No, Crypto makes sense.
I loved Crypto. The only thing I didn't like about Crypto is that he didn't fight a real bad guy. And apparently that didn't test well. And that's why they took it out, which is very disappointing.
Well, what I heard is that Lex will Eve alludes to it in the movie that Lex tortured a dog. So I have a feeling that scene might be of him torturing Crypto, and that's very different than him fighting a bad guy getting punched. Is like, I don't think anybody would test with, if you like dogs or not. You see,
I think I would also say
getting tortured or zapped or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also think on the other side, I don't know that I would want to watch a super dog attack a regular human being, because already watching a dog attack a regular human being is kind of intimidating and scary.
Well, we're kind of seeing him beating up people in armor, so that's fine.
Yeah,
yes, in armor.
Yeah, but against security guards or even the engineer, like, it's just, for me, the thing is,
the engineer would have been cool. Yeah,
I'll put it this way: the fact that the only time you see him fight is that it disrupts a scene that I thought was a pretty serious scene, and all he does is essentially does the equivalent of what Hulk did to Loki to Lex Luthor. Like, no wrong. Was it funny? Cool, but I'm like, I would have preferred to see him actually like fight somebody. You know what I mean? But apparently that also didn't test well, which is fine.
I think on one or two ways, like, you know, Crypto gets beaten up and no one liked that, or Crypto really messed up somebody.
That's the thing. Like, I would
all
say
that blood on that white fur.
He's out here looking like Santa Claus. When we saw, when we saw Crypto jumping on like injured Superman,
that was funny.
That was funny, but Superman, like, when I saw how hard he was jumping on Superman, and even Superman was like saying "ow" in pain.
Yeah,
that to me in that moment registered that Crypto would destroy a human being.
Well, yeah, a human being, or like a bad guy that he should.
Yeah.
Well, look what Crypto does to a certain someone towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
How he so that's him playful. Yeah. Imagine him when he's serious.
But out of curiosity, Derek, you've definitely read the most Superman than all of us. What do you feel about Crypto's actual physical appearance?
His breed of dog?
Like, just in general, is that when you think Crypto, was that what came out, or do you think he was too big, too small, or whatever? Like, what's your take on seeing Crypto?
I liked seeing Crypto like that, because in other depictions he's depicted kind of like a big wolf but white. I don't know if you guys watched the series Titans. I think Crypto's in Titans, and he is a fairly big dog. And even in cartoons, he's always like a lab. I think is that the breed of dog. I know nothing about dogs, so
it's like a lab type. Yeah.
So I don't mind that they really went and tried a different breed of dog, because I think it made it more playful to have that smaller dog attacking bigger people. So imagine like a lab that's probably bigger than that dog and bigger than Crypto was in the movie.
Some of those things, some of the comedic maybe would have not been as good.
Exactly. That's great point.
Also, I also like that Crypto looked like a mutt, and I also like that he looked like a mutt. He just looked like him. And then I liked every time I saw Crypto doing something, I was like, "This dog ain't trained. This dog ain't trained."
That was great.
But it's because you find out that it's not his.
Well, I know. But even if a dog, like a well-trained dog being dog sit, like someone's dog saying, at least responds to commands. Yeah. This dog, right at the beginning, after we get Superman supercharged and he's up to 83%, and he looks around, his Fortress of Solitude is wrecked, and he's talking to his robots like, what the happened here? Like, what? And they're just like, We've been feeding the dog, sir, but he has no concern for our. Like, those were such great little lines to start off the movie. Like, I had a moment early on where I was watching the film, and much like, and I think, did you see the Batman with me?
No.
Okay. Which movie was it you saw with me that I was like, damn it, they did it?
Spider-Man. I saw the Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. So the Batman, there's a moment when I was watching Matt Reeves is the Batman where I said to myself, crap, I like this. And with this movie early on, even earlier, I said, crap, this is good. Like I was like, I said it like Crypto nipping at his feet early. I was like, oh no, this is entertaining. Crap. This movie just I'm being entertained. This is too early.
But,
I have a question for all of you guys, actually, that I'm interested to hear your answers to. How did you guys feel about the placement of the humor in the movie? Speaking of Crypto's humorous moments, I found him saying the part where it's like he's not even a good dog when he's talking to Lois, and it's such a serious moment where he's like his whole world just crumbled down around him. He thinks his birth parents are these evil people. You know, no one in the world likes him, and then he has that moment where he's not even a good dog, but I have to go save him.
I like that because I feel like, again, it's like, why would he say that about his dog? It's like, it's not his dog.
Yes, that's a good point.
Not his dog, and he's like, I still gotta go save this dog that's not mine because I'm taking care of it, and if I don't take care of this dog, then I have hell to pay.
Because when we find out who the dog, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that known whose dog it is? Like, were we supposed to know that?
So originally, and I, Derek, you can correct me if I'm wrong. As I understand it, Krypto has almost canonically always been depicted as Superman's dog.
Correct.
And
I would say yes.
Yeah, and in this film, we are depicting that Krypto belongs to someone else, and that Superman is dog sitting Krypto at the Fortress of Solitude because it is the only safe place that could withstand his energy, like his kind of rambunctiousness, which I think is really funny.
There was a scene where he said that it's a fostering situation, so it made me think. It made me think like, oh, okay, I guess it's someone else's dog, and we're supposed to maybe know whose dog it is, but like, I don't know anything about Superman, so I had no idea. But good to know.
I mean, when I watched the film and I heard that line, and I kind of got this sense that I initially thought Krypto just didn't listen to him, and I was just like, okay, fine. It's really hard to train a dog that is almost as powerful as you. So I understand why Superman just never trained the dog. But as I watch a movie and lines like Ness mentioned and other things come up, like, for example, his reaction when he goes to see Lex after Lex's dog napped Krypto, and he's so angry. And I was kind of like, I had a moment of like understanding, is he this angry because it's his dog, or is he this angry because it's like someone else's dog and he doesn't like the idea of letting that person down? Like, I had a split second of that.
I would think maybe that's to show that Superman maybe has compassion for all things, all living things, from humans to right down to the squirrel that he saves.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was great. That was hilarious.
I was a little annoyed about the squirrel, but that's
but to answer Derek's
too much. It's a little too much.
Well, I was going to say
very Gunn.
It was very Gunn, because this is the thing. To answer back to Derek's question about the comedy, I think overall the comedy of the movie was good. However, there were some moments where I was like, it didn't need it. Like the one example that comes to mind, again, they're few and far between, but near the end when Lex is having his rant on Superman, and he's like giving out the pity party and all that, and he's like face to face, he's like, what are you gonna say to that? And I'm like, I want Superman to say something epic to him right now to shut him. I don't want him to punch him. Right. I don't want something. I want him to learn from the beginning of this movie where he thought he could just barge in anywhere and do what he wants. You got to give a quick quip now and make it good. The fact that it's the dog that comes in and does all that, again, was it funny? Yes, but I was there. I'm like, you're taking away from the moment I wanted.
I don't think Superman is there yet. He's been at the job for 3 years, and even at the beginning of the movie, he tries to do a line, and Lois like, that's a lame line. Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, oh, I thought it would work, And so I don't think he's there yet, and he doesn't seem like a kind of guy that's like quippy. Like, he's more, I'll do things, but I don't think he's like, he doesn't have all the answers. Like, he's trying to do that interview with Lois at the beginning, and he's
that was good.
fumbling
That was
hard,
amazing,
just constantly. So I don't think he's there yet, and I don't think people usually push back at him that hard and question him or challenge him like an
essence of Lois.
Yeah. So I think that was good that he just didn't have anything. He didn't have anything smart to say because he's not. I don't think he's there yet.
Touching on the comedy element, I just got this. No, why did they make Hawkgirl so corny with
Scream?
That scream.
That is one thing.
Scream. Yeah.
That annoyed the hell out of me. She's not Banshee.
Yeah.
It's actually
true.
It's one of if someone had to actually put a con section of the movie, that would be at the top. It'd be like, there's no reason why you're doing this.
I would assume that's her battle cry. I would assume.
Yeah, but it's one thing for a battle cry, but it's one thing to do it as you're doing everything you're doing.
Did you guys think it was in there to be comedic? Because there's times where she's doing it and I'm like, you sound crazy, girl.
Maybe,
no?
But if it was, that's an example of a bad use of comedy if
Okay,
it were to
okay,
be,
okay.
in my opinion.
I don't think
just-
it was though.
Okay, you got okay. Because there's just moments where she like when she flies out the window with the guy and she's screaming. I was just like, this is a ridiculous. Like I guess for me the scream was so ridiculous that I just kept laughing at it. So which is probably not a good thing. Yeah.
No.
They were
The Justice
making it
Gang-
her thing, like when
Oh,
she
her
fights,
thing, yeah.
I feel like they were making it her thing. Like
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 'Cause you guys
No,
are better
no,
than me.
Well, no, that's what it looks like they're doing, but they have other characters. Like there's a girl named Black Canary, and
Yes,
that's actually
Sonic
her
Scream,
power.
yeah.
That
Black Canary,
scream.
yes.
So I'm just
But did we notice when she was doing it, people were holding their ears, or it was just she's screaming and she's coming?
No,
in
I don't think
screaming?
they went so far as it like
Yeah,
affects
I don't
people
think it's
physically.
hurting
but-
anybody's ears.
yeah.
but
I kind of feel like it's the Justice Gang. I got a vibe
Yeah.
that Justice Gang were new.
Yes.
They're not.
And I just want to say real quick, shout out to Mark P who's tuned in, Kevin. We got Action Figgy Skinny in the tuck here. We got Lee J. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. And to Mark, I think we can pivot into the Justice Gang, like Jawz was just about to. Maxwell Lord running that team. Jawz, you were saying.
I think they're probably new and they're still trying to get their feet. They're trying to find their feet. I will give a shout out to Dave. Guy Gardner was really good.
minus the haircut.
You need
No,
needs the haircut.
It was good.
No,
I needs the haircut.
I'll applaud all of it. That was a
If you-
good
if you're
Guy
gonna do
Gardner.
Guy
It was a good
Gardner,
Guy
you gotta
Gardner. No,
have
Ness.
the haircut.
Ness,
gotta
the
do
only
it.
reason because Guy Gardner has that haircut in the original, like his original version.
Oh,
has that
okay, I
haircut.
had a feeling.
Yeah.
When I think of Guy Gardner, I always think of the stupid haircut, and you just have to have
Yeah.
it. Like you gotta either you go
I
halfway. or you
loved
go
it
all
when
in.
Lois called him out. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
I did like that his constructs, like at the end where they're coming out of the sand, and one of them's like a few of them are the middle finger going up. Like, yes, that's spot on for this character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
the
good.
big baseball bat going and hitting the alien.
Great.
Because that's one thing I'll say about the Justice Gang, all the metas and all the powers.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what everyone's opinion about this, because there was a lot of different powers that were shown. But I would say I'm impressed by how everyone's power was like super dead on perfect.
Yeah.
Like all of Mr. Terrific's gadgets are like
Ooh,
awesome.
Woo! The
Like-
T-spheres, baby. Okay.
The constructs were
The constructs were great. The constructs are well depicted too. That's one thing. I feel like we've seen Green Lantern, like John Stewart's constructs are in depth and detailed because he's an engineer.
Military base too, because he was in the military.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you have Hal Jordan. His constructs are really strong just from his pure willpower. Guy Gardner, his constructs are strong mostly because he's angry. Right. He at one point, if I'm not mistaken, he's a Red Lantern.
A Red Lantern, that's correct.
He's the leader of Red Lanterns at one point, but
Right.
and
Which is the Rage Lanterns for those who don't know. Yeah.
which is what I like is like they made it they personalized it, and they did the things where it's like Guy Gardner would be the guy who does really basic things.
Yes.
Like the concept as like the baseball bat, the middle fingers. Like it's just like if it were to be Kyle Rayner, it would have had to be something fancy and artsy.
Yeah.
Like
You know what I mean?
Like cartoony because he's a cartoonist comic book guy.
Like you'd see like a samurai guy come out and fight for him or something like that. It'd have to be like very detailed, but
And I know he joins at the end, but Metamorpho.
perfect.
Metamorpho, the Element Man.
Yes, let's talk about Metamorpho real quick. So skipping a bit to that scene, Metamorpho. So in the film, there's a moment where Superman is captured by a certain Lex Luthor, and who has been given permission by the U.S. government to detain Superman for questioning.
Not
where is
permission. He's on contract.
Oh, on contract. Thank you.
He's given
Proper
a contract by
Yes.
because that's what he was doing. That's what he pitched to them. And
Yes,
nice little
yes.
fancy thing. That's what.
And so and I'll make this note because my partner said this to me at the end of the film, and I think it's a very fair point. One of her things was, I don't know if I like this version of Lex Luthor, and I'll explain why. Because Lex Luthor is always a genius. He's always like trying to like defeat Superman. He's not the guy that she's ever seen to kidnap ex-girlfriends and have them in cages.
I disagree. Correction.
I've never seen Lex
We
Luthor
need the
do
litmus
that.
test.
I've never seen Lex do that in the
Yes.
comics.
Derek, is Lex Luthor petty? And no, it's the best person.
I know, but are you asking if Lex Luthor as a character is petty, or has he ever done it?
No, both.
Okay.
Has Lex Luthor, maybe not necessarily a girlfriend, but is Lex Luthor petty enough to do that? Or B,
I think if jealousy or intellectual superiority or any of those things come into play, where his ego might be attacked,
Right.
then he'll do it. And especially he's supposed to be more mad scientist in this movie, where it's like his creations are almost like magic. That's how technologically advanced he is.
Yes. Very good
So
point.
I would say, you know what? There's a chance. We haven't seen it yet.
That's the thing.
Until this movie.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the thing. So my partner likes villains, and most people will say a good villain makes a hero, right?
100%.
Mhm.
We all talk about the Joker to Batman. We all talk about. Unfortunately, Wonder Woman doesn't have many great, but Cheetah is really good. And if you read the comic books, Ares is a really good foil for Wonder Woman. Like, I would say. So when you have Lex Luthor, I understand what my partner is saying, in which we've never seen a version of Lex Luthor who is so petty that he has women and random people and Kate, and like the fact that the U.S. government,
all of his haters are here.
and I get that. One of the things they were depicting with this Lex Luthor is that he is insecure. He's obviously very insecure.
I'll put it this way. I think they did this to show pettiness because I will say this. I have read where if someone screwed around with Lex Luthor, he'd act cool. Like, let's say someone tried to embarrass him in public.
Right.
And he'd be like, cool. Thank you for that, patron. And he'd let that person walk.
But then
He would ruin their life.
Right.
This is putting that very, very fast.
Yeah.
Without having to explain.
Sorry,
I
Jawz.
feel that this is depicting a lot of tech billionaires that they hear somebody saying something about them they don't like, and they'll just shut it down. There's been like Elon Musk with Twitter, where there was a Twitter account that was purposely like, "Hey, this is where Elon Musk's jet is going," because they would look at the log and then and then when he bought Twitter, he shut that down. When he bought Twitter, anybody that talks bad about him that like is doing well at it and getting a big enough following, he will shut it down.
Yeah, he like takes people's accounts away and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Ness. Yeah.
it's one thing to like, I don't know, ruin someone's life, and it's another thing to trap them in a
Yes.
like
I was gonna say.
kidnap them and keep them hostage. You know?
Yeah.
That's what makes it weird.
But again, I
same-
feel like it's talking about how people with this amount of power, this amount of money, if anything goes wrong, they could just sweep
So
stuff under
he's
the
just
rug.
keeping them there for like torture.
Yeah, because let's put it this way. There has also been comic books where Lex Luthor like screwed someone over, years and years passed, and they're like, I finally getting on my feet again. And he comes and says, "Oh yeah, about those feet," and does something else to put them right back.
Don't get me
the
wrong.
same thing, but it's in a different vein.
Ness, I agree with you. I think it's different to like say, I'm gonna make sure you can never get better, but at least you're free. You're out in the world, and I'm just gonna keep cutting you under, and I'll keep you in a prison of your soul and your mind. But keeping you actually in prison in a pocket universe in a box with
It's
a box.
diabolical.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is diabolical.
That's the point, though. Because
In a
that's
pocket
Yeah,
in a pocket dimension that's going to crash at any moment.
Am I-
Yeah, guys,
Am I
the
the
pocket
only
dimension
one?
element of it.
Am I
Ness,
the only one that felt he was a little cheesy?
No, Ness. I was gonna say.
sorry.
I was gonna say.
Nope.
My one con.
I was like,
For
maybe
this
it's
film.
a hot take, but
No. I was gonna say Nicholas Hoult was like, as much as he was a good Lex per the comic book, like mad scientist, like Derek said, so advanced that his creations look like magic. Like, these are all things that I'm like, this is a perfect depiction of Lex. His kind of Shakespearean hatred and like delivery felt so campy sometimes.
yeah.
And I
liked
was
it.
just
I love it. I love it.
I'm eating well tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Like, this is the best. Like, I'm talking
funny.
about comic book, Justice League animated series, Superman animated series.
So in
I
the
think
comic
is
books,
arguably the best.
he's corny like this.
Yes.
well,
all
In
the things you guys are
variations,
talking
he's
about.
definitely corny. There can be
100%.
50s and 60s, especially where he was like,
Yes.
Superman was like moving planets. And
Yes.
like he had like a super horse and all that stuff. Like that Lex was pretty, if you want to say zany. I
Yes.
don't want to. I'm sorry I used that word, but I had to.
Yeah. No, but Ness, I think one of the things is, and I say this when it comes to comic books all the time, it always depends on who's writing.
Yeah.
Right. So there are versions of Lex Luthor that are really like the corporate America Lex Luthor. I'm going for president.
I didn't think Jesse Eisenberg was as. I'm not saying I liked his Lex Luthor, but I'm saying
Agreed. Yeah.
I didn't think he was as cheesy
Right.
or as corny
Yeah.
as this one.
His version of Lex was very much the corporate, like businessman Lex
Well,
Luthor.
more tech bro.
Like,
More tech bro.
Yeah.
More realistic.
Well, that's
he was also the abused. He was abused as a child. He said, "Daddy never saved me from getting the belt," or whatever he says in the movie, where it's like with certain Lexes are depicted certain ways. Like in Smallville, they're friends. In Birthright, they were friends in Smallville briefly. So this is just like, where was I going with that? But he's not the, I think in this movie, he was probably born into wealth, perhaps. It's called Luthor Corp. It's not called Lex Corp.
Yes.
Yes. That's what surprised me. I was like, Luthor Corp.
Because Luthor Corp is Lionel Luthor original. Before Lex takes over and changes the name. So this one still feels a little bit like the Silver Spoon. I just got the Silver Spoon and I'm now like, I think one of the things is, and we definitely see it throughout the film, that Lex is angry about not living in a world where his abilities can shine because everyone's so busy looking at the man flying in the sky.
Well, yeah, he wants to be acknowledged as Earth's greatest mind, and Superman just his presence denies him the recognition, basically.
Yeah, because there's clearly metahumans, but it doesn't like the impression I got. There's no aliens yet,
right?
Or no one knows if they're an alien, so we don't know if Hawkgirl is.
We do know
alien or not.
We do know that there's aliens because
the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, because Guy Gardner references the core, and Superman even says when that creature is there to distract him that we could have taken to a galactic zoo or something.
Yeah. Yes. So in the comics, he has a galactic zoo in his fortress, actually.
Right.
But,
sorry.
No, so I just wanted to add one little thing. One thing I thought was cool, and this will be the last thing I'll say about Lex. Although for me, I do think he's the best Lex that we have.
The best Lex out of all the live action depictions and animated.
Oh wow!
Even better than Michael Rosenbaum.
Not animated.
Michael Rosenbaum is a tough act to follow as a Lex, in my opinion.
This is an interesting thing.
Clancy Brown.
I saw an interview today with Holt with Rosenbaum today.
Yeah.
Legit, him on his podcast.
Yeah.
And Holt was saying to him,
really,
that the first Lex I know of is you.
Yeah.
I watched Smallville, and I was so happy to hear that because I legit, when I was watching this, I was like, I feel this is written. If Rosenbaum was young, like let's say this was back in the day, this could have easily been the Lex Luthor from that Smallville show. Years into the future. So the fact that he went on the show, complimented him, and the fact that I agree with Derek, up until now, Rosenbaum would have been my number one Lex. But now with this, the things that you guys said are campy. I'm not saying they're not campy. I'm just saying that those are little details for me that I'm like, those little things are making Lex who he is, because now, like you guys were saying, he's kind of like the younger born into wealth. I'm like, he's at that slightly immature phase. So these campy things will eventually go away, and he'll just become freaking even more cold and more precise, which makes me curious about the future of this character.
You know how in The Simpsons there's that episode of the Valentines where I think you can see Ralph's heart break. And it's like choo choo choose me, and you see that when you watch this Superman movie, and the story comes out about all the things he's done, and he looks at Superman and he's tearing up. You see the moment where he breaks. You see the moment in his face, and that's one thing I'll give Holt. He delivered that moment very well.
Sorry, to add on to Dave's point there. Normally when we see Lex, he's always trying to save his own ass. He'll throw anybody and everybody underneath the bus. He doesn't care. It's just about him. And in this movie, we kind of see him keep his crew together. He doesn't want the engineer to like go in recklessly and hurt herself.
He seems sad when the engineer gets hurt.
Yeah, there were moments where he was appreciative of what the staff was doing. He was patting them on the back and like getting excited as if it was like they're part of his team, and that's basically what it is.
I'm thinking back to the animated show, and he would what's his driver?
Mercy. Mercy.
So, like
Okay.
how he would just constantly throw underneath the bus all the time. Oh, you take the fall,
Yeah.
and she'd keep coming back. And then I think in Justice League Unlimited, where she's controlling LexCorp, and she finally like cuts it off. Like, no, I'm not. You're on your own now. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm really, really done.
Okay, so we've talked about the beginning. We've talked about real quick. So another thing, I guess, one of the reasons I think my partner had mentioned about Lex's kind of evil with regards to the keeping people, but also when the government contracted him and he finally captures him, brings him into the pocket universe, has him in a cage, because this all started because we were talking about Metamorpho. Kryptonite, able to create kryptonite, because it would appear that in this universe, all kryptonite's gone.
That was an interesting statement.
That was a very interesting statement, because
and then Lex kind of hints at it. It's like, oh, we could synthesize it or something like that.
Right.
That's a way to do to make it.
Does it seem like a big? I guess he can always reintroduce it later, but is it a big, dangerous move for Gunn to remove kryptonite? Because that feels like a pretty big.
But it could also be just we haven't found, like, it could be something where they eventually find something.
All right,
you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's
like vibranium.
Like,
that's fair.
yeah,
that's
you could. I feel like you could easily do that, or a meteor can hit.
Yeah,
maybe some hasn't even arrived to Earth yet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of ways you could write. You wrote yourself into a spot, yes, but one with many avenues where you can get out of it.
It's just because it felt like a big, like, bold move to be like, all right, here I'm showing you Superman defeated at the beginning. You find out it's not related to kryptonite, which is like, oh, okay. How did he get defeated? Purely from someone's ability to predict his moves. Okay, that's interesting. And then we find out no kryptonite, and then we have to synthesize it to contain him. I was just like, wow, these are some bold decisions.
Well, because the other thing, for example, just by doing the parallel universe jumps, you could easily say, I found the teleportation that brings me to a planet.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of ways out of it.
Okay, not mad at it.
Well, you had something I want to add on what you just said.
That Lex Luthor is a psychopath and he shot someone in the head in front of Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
I was gonna say
that was dark, guys.
I was gonna say about the person who can beat him up. So super big spoilers for anyone. If you've already gone this far, you should know better by now if you don't want to hear anything, but I'm gonna say it anyways. At first, I was really upset that he was fighting his clone because I'm like, damn it,
okay.
I don't want to do that. But I forgot, and Derek, I think we've talked about it again. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Lex has done this before.
Constant.
Yes.
He did it in Superman 4 and he made Nuclear Man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the one where it's dubbed by freaking Gene Hackman's work.
Yeah, that masterpiece.
Anyways, we'll get that. That's a whole other conversation.
But there. Go on. Sorry.
Because I was just going to say, I was super upset about that because in my mind, I'm like, we've seen this so many times, but the second they threw him into that alternate universe,
the black hole.
Yeah,
if that could be Bizarro because you show that he's not smart. Well, correction, you're underneath the impression that he can't be that intelligent if he's being told what to do all the time.
Right.
But that should be the proper setup, right, boys? Like, all Superman here.
I think we can all agree that we are getting Bizarro at some point.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And sorry.
I was gonna say I remember before the movie came out, or as the movie was coming out, there was like a thumbnail that was going to spoil Ultraman, and I thought the thumbnail it showed without the mask. I thought it was gonna be Henry Cavill.
Oh wow!
Here's the reveal.
That's
I thought that's what we were gonna do. So I was like, what? And I remember I told you guys, stay off the internet just in case.
I mean,
yeah, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, that would have been insane. I know. I think one of my friends was saying that it's very interesting that because for The Boys, for those of you who don't know, and this is a spoiler for The Boys, speaking of another spoiler, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander in the comic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, that's cool. I don't mind spoilers. Yeah. Trust me. I'm one of those. I don't mind spoilers. That's great to know that, actually.
Yeah. So in the comic book, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander, and all the things that Homelander is being accused of, you find out has been Black Noir doing it, and Homelander thought he was blacking out. He didn't think that it was a clone. So that was a really interesting story, but from what I understand, not even what I understand. The Boys are not doing that in this universe in the live action. Black Noir is not a clone of Homelander. No. He's his own individual character. And I thought it was super interesting that then in Gunn's Superman, they essentially did exactly the Black Noir storyline where there's a clone of Superman in a suit being used to try and take Superman down, and comes along. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Black Noir's suit in the comic books, but it essentially looks exactly like Ultraman's. So it was kind of fun to see Gunn nodding. It felt very much like Gunn was giving us nods to like all the elements. Had we gotten a Sentry moment, we would have gotten all the major Superman archetypes in one.
What did you guys think of Lois?
I thought she was good. I thought she was good. I like the fact that she saved Superman. Yeah. I feel like Lois usually has a tenacity. You know, she's gotten this far without Superman. She doesn't need to call him like, "Hey, save me." She's like, she's quick on her head. She's like, let me do some actual digging and stuff. And I like that her and Jimmy work together as a team. Yeah. Jimmy was a surprise MVP, and I was surprised they kept him redheaded.
Hey.
Well, and did you guys hear that they want to? I mean, I don't know if this is actually going to happen, but rumors are circulating that they want to do a Jimmy spinoff and a Mr. Terrific spinoff. Speaking of highlights of the movie,
but I got to ask a question when it comes to Jimmy.
Okay.
Why the fuck was he injected with love potion number 9 that every freaking girl who, like, I don't want to be like stereotypical or anything like that, but the hottest girl in every room that he walks in practically wants to dump their boyfriend to go out with him. It's weird. Why? He's never like,
I think
that's not a thing.
His name is Big
No.
D.
He ain't a J, he's a D.
No, I think the Chekhov's gun moment at the beginning where Gunn shows us the interns looking at Jimmy and like actively finding him really attractive.
And like the girl that he...
No, I know, but I'm saying the Gunn did a good job of setting that up. It wasn't like it came out of nowhere when it happened, because at the beginning of the movie, those two girls, these very pretty like news girls, are walking around and just staring at Jimmy and like giggling and talking about him. And I got the sense of like, oh, Jimmy's handsome in this universe. Like that's a...
Is he though?
Like, I mean,
I he's somebody's taste, but he could also be, you know, we don't know what his relationship with Superman is yet, because he at the, should I say the part at the end, a dialogue piece, where Chief asks him, or sorry, Perry White, asks him how long have they been together, and he says about 3 months. So he must know Superman in some capacity.
Yeah.
Maybe he just, it's the fame of being Superman's pal that make the girls fawn.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe, but I would guess I'd want to know. Like, I don't know. It just threw me off because the fact that like he'd walk by and each girl would turn around and be like,
I honestly,
that's Superman's pal.
Yeah,
you know, he doesn't have the hypno glasses. He doesn't look like Superman. Like
hypno glasses being mentioned, super cool. The whole Guy Gardner and Lois talking about the hypno glasses, even funnier. Like that, like Guy Gardner being like, do you know the secret? like I thought that was hilarious.
He's the equivalent of Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo in their
universe. Yeah. But I would say like the thing I liked about how Jimmy was done, I liked the fact that they did the kind of nod to early on that Jimmy is desirable, and then when it paid off, it was really good. Back to Lois though. Lois Lane, I think we've mentioned, fantastic character. Didn't need Superman to save her. Super strong. If anything, she's saving him. She's flying ships. I know Mr. Terrific said it's intuitive, but I would point out when you know how to drive a car and someone doesn't know how to drive a car,
it's not
intuitive. It seems intuitive to you, but if this person has never driven a car ever in their life, it's not going to be super intuitive. Jawz.
To be fair,
she's a genius.
He didn't get it at first, and then she got the hang of it, and then she was able to fly it pretty good with no instructions. So I do feel there, like, you know, Mr. Terrific was not talking out of his ass. No,
I didn't think so. But
I know, but at first she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then after a while she got the hang of it, and she was flying it decently. Like, it wasn't like
she flies it back to Kansas. That's another thing. Like, I don't know how far that distance is
for that ship. It might take that long.
But again, that's what I mean. Like, she eventually gets that, and then now she's flying her work, her
crew, her
coworkers out of there. You know, even though she dropped off, and then she still came.
That was funny.
You know, so.
But I'd say another thing I really liked about this one, and you guys kind of hinted at it as well, and it came through a lot in that scene where she's doing the interview. She doesn't pull her punches, and she never has, right?
Right.
And
No, she's an army brat. You know, she had a tough dad.
Yeah, and I like that. I would dare say that, like I said, this movie has a couple of bests for me. I think it's one of the best Fortress of Solitudes. I think it's one of the best Cryptos. Definitely think it's one of the best Lexes. Definitely think it might be in contention for the best Lois.
Smallville's Lois still is.
Erica Durant's beauty, well done, great character, very strong in Smallville too. Love it, I love it. But she did need to be saved quite a bit.
Yeah,
I never watched all of Smallville, so that's the only reason why I can't. Because it's Lana Lane at first, Lana
Lang,
yeah, Lana Lang, and then I think by the time Lois actually appears is maybe shortly after
season 4.
I think I maybe start to fall off at that point in time, but not because it's a bad show, just because there's so much content at all times. But she reminded me a lot like Amy. It's Amy?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Like they both had the same quality that I like. They like you were saying, Derek, army brats, don't pull out their punches, freaking direct. I'm not gonna pretend to be. I'm a pretty girl. I'm smarter than you, and you know it. Like that type of like thing, and their interaction, like the whole interaction of them at the apartment, was probably some of the best Superman I've ever watched, because I'm like, you're addressing so many things. How would he react to people questioning his decisions? How does he struggle with the concept of like, well, I'm doing what is right. Like, even you might question me, I'm doing what's right. People would die if I didn't do what I did.
Yeah.
Like, how is it harder than that? Like I found, and then like just their dynamic, her ability to be a news reporter, to ask the hard questions and stuff. So much in that like 5 to 10 minute scene. I was like, this is exceptional Superman right now.
Yeah.
I wonder how good of a reporter she is. In terms of, does she, like Amy Adams did, track down Superman in Man of Steel? She tracks him down. She figures it out. Like, who knows how long she was studying or like investigating that case, but she figured out he was Superman. You know, where this alien came from. She tracked him down to Smallville. And does this Lois get told that, you know, like, does Superman say, hey, I'm Superman? You know, like Clark finally reveal it to her? Just figure it out on her own. That's something I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, those are very interesting points. I mean, that Amy Adams was almost like the question level, you know, like, like the fact that she had those kind of skills. And I'm not mad at that.
Not mad at all.
I mean, this, I like how smart and dedicated this Lois is, but you're not wrong. If we do get a Jimmy spinoff, I'm hoping we get more of Lois. I mean, like, obviously we're not going to have her as a lead, but more of Lois as a journalist in the background doing her thing.
Well, she should be, if they do a Jimmy movie, hypothetically speaking, she would have to be present in the sense that she is a mentor. Like her and Clark are mentors. So if you do a Jimmy movie, the thing about that is like, unless you're going to put it in a specific scene or scenario where he's like off site and alone. If he's going to the Daily Planet, he has like his every day is interacting with those
guys.
people.
The more I think about it, are we sure we need a Jimmy movie?
I don't know. I'd rather a Metropolis movie before a Jimmy movie.
The Daily Planet.
Yeah, like it would be about the Daily Planet, and there's an actual like, hey, just I have to discover something, and this big thing. I would like to see that, because the fact it was so cold that he called her Monster Toe.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about Eve. Is her name? Yeah.
Eve.
Yeah. So we
an actual character though, like in the comics, I heard she was, but I'm not sure.
Eve Tessmacher is that's her last name, I believe. Eve Tessmacher, if I'm not mistaken. I want to pronounce it right. She was in the first Superman movie, well, in 1978. She was included in that one. I don't know if she's an original character, which makes me look like a horrible Superman fan.
No, stop it. No, but I mean, I find when you're watching the film at the beginning, and Lex always kind of just has a pretty girl around, which has always been a thing. And she's just, and they updated it for the social media age, where she's constantly on her phone taking pictures. I kept thinking to myself, I'm shocked Lex would let this girl just take pictures in the office, because like there's a lot of personal information in there. Like
arrogance.
Arrogance is back to arrogance. Yeah.
And this girl's stupid, whatever.
Right. Yes.
She does something stupid and put her in the pocket universe. So that's
Right.
Think about it, right? When he lets things go, it's because like if they piss him off enough, he's just gonna put him in jail. Like
Right.
So
But it was just
a quick thing. I was just looking up real quickly. She does appear in the comics, appears in JLA Earth 2 and Superman Family Adventures as Lex Luthor's secretary, and DC Rebirth Comics Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
Hey, there we go.
Show up in the comics.
I mean,
Nice.
it was just interesting because I definitely had a moment, but I guess you guys are right. It is his pride. It is his ego. He doesn't think that this ditzy blonde girl taking pictures is going to catch anything. So yeah, but it was just very interesting that at the end of the movie, again, spoiler, mutant toes, as Jimmy refers to her, which is kind of unfortunate, but Jimmy obviously
he's gotten closer enough to see her toes.
Hey, let's put it this way: Jimmy's such a freaking stud that he's able to put a girl that attractive in his phone as mutant toes. What type of girls is he attracting that he has the confidence to openly call them mutant toes? Like, what's his 10 on 10? Like, what does this make sense?
She is, by all accounts, like considered aesthetic, like just beautiful.
I'm just gonna say, the nerds of tomorrow, you should thank Jimmy today, because now that's why you're getting numbers for the nerds of tomorrow right
now. But I liked her character. There's another character we didn't talk about that I really want to talk about.
One last thing. Maybe Jimmy's just a nice person compared to Lex. Like a breath of fresh air. That a guy's not treating her horribly, or she's probably very aware that she's just the arm candy kind of thing.
She's just comfortable with her mutant toes.
Yeah.
He's calling me dumb. He calls you mutant toes. Well, he has a point.
Yeah. We haven't talked about this character a lot, but he is considered one of the scene stealers of the film. People have been calling for his sequel. People have been saying that this is retribution for things that have been done to him in the past in other superhero movies. This actor, Eddie, playing Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific
MVP.
was terrific. Was terrific.
Yeah. Fantastic. Ness actually put a note, Mr. Terrific for president, before she had to duck out. But I mean, I would personally say the best fight scene in the movie and the most James Gunn coded fight scene in the movie is when Mr. Terrific shows up to the base that Lex has on the edge of the city and puts Lois in a bubble to protect her and uses his T-spheres to defeat everyone at the camp. And that is the most Gunn.
It is, because
his fists.
And what?
And his fists.
And his
right,
fists.
Yeah.
But for me, the only thing I agree with everything you said. The only thing that threw me, not even threw me off, it just made me think of Guardians, that scene.
Of course.
And I was there, I'm like, I don't want to think about Guardians, I want to think about Mr. Terrific, because he's doing such a great job.
I feel like that's a Gunn, like, because Gunn did that in Suicide Squad.
That's true.
So that's the thing. He always does.
A Gunn thing,
yeah, like it's a very, it's like Wes Anderson.
I feel less bad about thinking about that now.
Yeah. Like every director probably has their thing, and Gunn's thing when it comes to superhero films, at the very least, is kind of those, you stay here and I'm going to shoot from this perspective, and you just see things happening in and out of the genre. And yes, I mean, the best version is Groot.
Yeah.
Little Groot against that kind of like insane monster in Guardians.
In Volume 2.
Volume 2.
I mean, I feel it's better than lens flares, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a fan of that reference in his lens flares. Please stop.
I would agree. Yeah.
But overall, for this movie, I'll just say, like, before going to see this movie, I would say that my favorite property, and I haven't seen all of the Christopher Reeves ones. The thing that sucks is technically I've seen the worst Chris Reeves ones.
The fourth one?
I've seen the fourth one, a good significant portion of the third one, and I have never seen the director's cut of the second one. I don't know if I know I've seen the first one, but I don't think I've sat it all. I've seen it all, but not in like us sitting. Like, I've seen half an hour here, half an hour here, half an hour there, and I've made the movie, like, I know what the movie is. But before this, I would say Man of Steel was like my number one.
Yeah.
I would say this is equal for me, because I find if these two films can have a baby, it would be like the ultimate Superman thing. Because like one is like, I like this one because it's a super comic booky, light, which a lot of Superman comic books are light, whereas like let's say Man of Steel, it's very dark, and that's the thing. If you're reading Superman, it's usually either very light or very dark because he's doing something super serious.
Yeah.
But I would still think I like Man of Steel a smidge more, but that's only because I like that Superman a smidge more.
Now, Dave, can I ask if you do, is it because we saw Superman Returns together in the theaters, and in comparison to the last Superman movie, Man of Steel was that much better because he actually fought? Is that can we say that, is that a possibility?
That is a possibility, but what I'll say is this: in that movie, example, I won't lie, I liked Pa Kent a lot more in that movie. In that movie, like, because the thing that sucks is like both of them are fantastic Superman films. One is, and actually, I think you told me this before, Derek. Like, this one is more like a comic book movie, whereas the other one was like a First Contact movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna take credit for that. Derek told me that earlier today, a few days ago. I was like, that's
very good.
Very, very solid point.
Yeah.
So they are completely different vibes. That's why it's hard to choose one over the other.
That's fair.
And the thing is, I liked Man of Steel because I did like the physicalness of the like just how everything was introduced in that one. I really, really enjoyed, and I liked that one was like him versus Zod was a solid story, and I liked that he killed Zod in that movie. Only in the sense of like, I was always hoping for the sequel because I wanted that to be his. I wanted that to be like everyone was like, he doesn't kill him. Like, no, the next movie is supposed to be he doesn't kill anymore because that was a bad idea.
Yeah,
and I definitely felt like that's what it was supposed to be. That's why it was done that way.
Yeah. Like Superman Returns was a setup for a Brainiac invasion and what would have been the sequel to Superman Returns,
Exactly.
Yeah.
My fear about might happen to this movie, and so far so good, but I don't want to get my hopes up for a sequel because I've been let down too many times. So
but they say
I know there's going to be one. I have a feeling there's going to be one, but
the thing is, Gunn is hinting that there's going to be the Supergirl movie will kind of be a form of a sequel, not a sequel. I think Gunn is going to do sequels more like these people are in
this
a mini universe. Like he'll probably do something eventually like a Justice
World's
League.
Finest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you might eventually get a Justice League, but all these are like we're partnering people up, and you're gonna have your movies that will all circle around. So
we already know for a fact that he's planning to do Justice League at some point. He's planning to build up and give everyone their films.
They're building the Justice
Gang,
the Hall of Justice. They're clearly building.
Oh yes,
yes.
That's a really important point.
They're clearly
Hall of Justice, and like a classic Hall of Justice too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jawz.
Well, I was going to say also, if they did a sequel of this, I would like to see, the consequences that happen here to continue on with Superman. So Superman sees that Lex found someone that helped him and killed him in front of him. So that means that Superman's like, ooh, Lois, I don't think we should be seeing each other.
That's some good tension there. I see that.
Like when I was there, Lex straight up killed a shawarma guy. I don't know what he made. He made food for.
It was probably delicious. We could all agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
But he also threatened Clark, which was a very good comedic scene for those But he threatens to kill Clark, and it's just like, oh shit, like
go find him. That's what I would have said. I'd be like, go get him.
But I just mean in the sense that like I think what Jawz is saying is really valid.
No, I agree.
That like if Lex is threatening Clark, that means he's willing to threaten the other people that are close to Superman, which puts Lois right in the crosshairs.
Possibly like Jimmy. So I don't think he knows. I don't think maybe Jimmy and him are friends yet. I think Jimmy's got his own swagger going on, and we're also trying to figure it out and get a little piece of that. And so he says Clark. He doesn't say Jimmy. He says specifically Clark.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that's. So I would like to see that continue and how their relationship handles it, because it seemed like they were straight up going to break up. It sounded like Lois like, I'm not good at relationships, and like I'm just going to say whatever comes to my mind, even though I'm the smartest one in the room and I don't care. I'm going to hurt this farm boy's heart because whatever. I'm punk rock.
But where do you guys rank it?
I was just about to say, actually, Derek, Jawz, you guys go. I'll save my.
Wendell, please be my guest. I'll jump in after.
Jeez. I have not seen all of the Superman movies. I do know the pathos of Christopher Reeve and Christopher Reeve having that horse accident and not being able to walk and everything. I do understand and know that was a big deal. Superman got paralyzed. Like that's how people kind of saw
His son had a cameo in this film.
Yes, he was one of the news reporters. He was one of the news reporters. They actually asked for him to come down and do that.
Really cool.
Nice touch.
Yeah.
But I do like kind of seeing clips of the old Superman and seeing him like, try to teach people and help people. Like, there's like one where he saves the cat, brings it down, gives it to the girl. So there's always that, like, I'm not too busy to save the world. I can still kind of help out the person next door kind of thing.
I can save a squirrel.
Went back to that. It's not as cynical as the older ones. And I would give it, and I don't know, I guess an 8 out of 10. Like it's a nice return to form. And this is what we want to see from DC. You never want to see any of your favorite characters that you grew up with, like on the back foot kind of thing. And everyone's just like, I don't know, just being like that. And in my mind, there's always 3 big superheroes and that every kid wants to be. That's Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. Like that. Everyone can put on a bed sheet and fly around, and be Superman or Batman, and then do this and be Spider-Man. That's usually the first 3 you kind of know. So yeah.
Well, that leaves me. Before Brian, I'm going to just say I love the movie. I thought it was a refreshing change from this really serious tone of the Snyder ones, especially in today's climate. I really think a refreshing, positive message is needed in more movies. And Superman, I think, is just the best example of that. Is let's use Superman. Superman could be anything, and Superman. This version of Superman is what we would need right now.
Yeah.
And Man of Steel. Look, Man of Steel's past. It's 12 years ago now. We got to move on.
Holy
that's crazy.
Cow.
Yeah.
So this Superman there's a whole generation of kids that are they're going to grow up with this Superman. My son, he's 6. He's going to grow up with this Superman for the next 10 years. Like the kids that I know that I work with, because I work at a pharmacy, they're younger than me. They're like, oh, my Superman's Henry Cavill, because in 2013 they were a certain age,
Right.
So they grew up with that. So this is just the new Superman for a new generation, and just a more positive one. Yeah. And do we need more positivity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are you giving it on 10?
I'm going to say 9.
All right. Dave, you actually didn't say a score, did you?
I would give it a solid. I'd say it a 9 as well.
9 on 10. Mon Dieu.
Yeah, because like I said, for me, it's like it's what I think. Whatever I technically gave Man of Steel, I'm giving this the same grade, and I'm pretty sure I gave it a 9 because, like I said, for me, both of those are. These are like if someone said, "I want to watch something quickly. What's the best representation of Superman?" I'd be like, "You gotta watch these 2 movies."
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Great point.
I would say, yeah. My final thoughts. I like the film. I think that Gunn was able to land the plane. I always talk about whether people can land or if they don't, and
you were mad hating.
yeah. I and it's funny because I like Gunn, but I just didn't think that Superman. Gunn is so good at doing ensemble casts.
Yep.
And to see him do a Superman movie, I kept saying, how are we going to do a Superman movie? And then I found out about all the things that he was going to throw in. And it started to feel like, I don't know if you guys remember, what show was it? Was it Daredevil? Netflix Daredevil, where we're like, man, they're doing Daredevil, they're doing Punisher, they're doing and we were all like, that seems like a lot of the Hand. It seems like a lot to put on the plate of one season. Elektra, Punisher, the Hand. So it's not easy to do that. No. And when I saw that Gunn was going to be doing Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and then Superman. On top of that, you're doing Lex with a team. He has the Engineer. He has Ultraman. And then we have the
Planet team.
The Daily Planet. I'm like, wow, it's a lot of people. But I guess because of his skill of doing ensemble films, Daily Planet.
My bad.
I guess because of his skill of doing ensembles is why he was able to seamlessly. I didn't feel like anyone, like I saw comments where people are just like, oh, Perry White wasn't used properly, Max Lord wasn't used properly, and I'm just like, but
Was
both
Max
those
Lord in the movie?
yeah, Max Lord's in the movie for 2 seconds, but guys,
Oh, okay.
we're talking about
Superman.
We're talking about Superman and superheroes, and you're talking about like the bosses at work.
But the thing is this: those bosses were on screen for as much as they would be more
Yes!
likely in a comic book.
Yeah.
Yes,
Unless you're doing a comic book about him literally at the Daily
Exactly.
Planet.
Shout
that
out
day.
to Wendell Pierce.
right. He does a fantastic job, but I mean, at the same time, he did as much as he needed to do. I don't need to see Perry White throughout a
Working on
Superman.
layout.
Yeah, like
Literally working on
I
the
don't
layout.
need, J. Jonah Jameson is great in Spider-Man, but guess what? There's a lot of Spider-Man stories where you don't need to see J. Jonah Jameson more than once. Like, I don't need these characters to be as fleshed out as possible. And to say that you felt that those characters are misused because they didn't have enough screen time, but what more screen time would you need than the guy who decides release the story, or Maxwell Lord, who is just bankrolling the Justice Gang, and he doesn't, as far as people know, have any powers, because Maxwell Lord's powers are a secret at this point. As far as I know, I won't jump to that, but it's secret. And seeing Maxwell Lord that little bit has me excited, because I don't know if you guys know the story with Wonder Woman and Maxwell Lord, but there's a chance that if Maxwell Lord does the stuff that he did in the comic book, we might see a really cool Wonder Woman story.
But wait, Maxwell Lord, is he a good guy or a bad guy? I forget.
He is a good guy, but like a lot of good guys, sometimes when you live in a world where there's Superman and Martian Manhunter and the Flash, and your powers aren't anywhere near as high as there are, like you have the S tier, A, B, and C. If Superman and all those people are S tier and you're down by B and C, you might be a little envious, or not envious. You might want to step up to their level, so you might start to do things thinking you're helping. And Maxwell Lord is the type of character who does, like, from the Checkmate run, he does some stuff and ends up being on the wrong side of history. And it's a very interesting story for Wonder Woman and the Justice League in general. So seeing that introduction of that character, as little as it was, knowing that he's bankrolling the team and stuff like that, seems important to me, because he might come back into play later on.
Who was Pedro Pascal being in? What was his
Maxwell
character?
Lord.
Yeah,
That was Maxwell. Okay,
yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
not crazy. Okay, so in that
So-
one, it's maybe just a different depiction compared to what it should
Yeah.
be.
So in
Okay.
this movie, it's James Gunn's brother is playing Maxwell Lord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
I saw him and I was like, and I guess because
Sean Gunn, right?
you,
Is his name?
you wait, you hand wave it because he's putting his brother in.
seconds,
You
yeah.
squint and you move away and you completely missed a little blip that says Maxwell Lord.
Yeah. Sorry, but all that to say, I give the film, and you guys know I'm tough on films, I give it a 7.5. That's
He's very picky.
I am very picky. I put our scores up. Janessa gave it an 8 on 10, so we're averaging really high. 7.5 is not a knock on any of them. It's
Brian doesn't give tens.
I-
That's fair. You don't give tens.
I don't give 10s.
I only gave it a 9 because I don't think any movie is perfect.
Right.
Every movie is flawed to some extent, and I liked it so much. I have a bit of a bias. I'm going to say 10 on 10. It's been fantastic. It was such a nice, but realistically, if I had to be objective more so than I am a fan, like a super fan, I would say 7.5 is fair.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you guys always kind of attack me for my scores on some of these films. Like, my Spider-Man No Way Home having a 6 on 10. But again, I felt like that was a fair, based on everything I said was wrong with the film. 6 on 10 is great. Based on everything I say about this film and all the things that I found, little tweaks here, little change there. Maybe give this character some Jimmy Olsen love with the Eve better explained for 2 seconds.
Well, I think, and even if you look at the scores that we're talking about, it's just basically, I
More
find
Lois.
there was more.
Or Mike.
We always say sometimes they do fan service, right?
Yes.
And sometimes people do too much fan service.
Yes.
I am happy to see that someone who's not necessarily the biggest Superman fan
Yeah.
is still giving it a very good
Yeah.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people who are, Derek is a big Superman fan. I'm not going to say I'm a big Superman fan, but I do appreciate Superman. And I won't lie, I enjoyed the animated series.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. So I think it's also the fan service to us. And I won't lie, the fact that Guy Gardner's in the movie and minus the haircut, in my opinion, Nathan Fillion does such a great job.
Mhm.
And he's also deserving because there's been so many times he's tried to be a Green Lantern. And he's always been told basically no. So for him to finally get it.
He's been Hal Jordan's voice for a very long
there we go.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say.
for a very long
Everyone for the long time was
True.
saying younger version of him. A lot of people were saying he should have been Hal Jordan
Yes,
because
I
he
did
looks
see
exactly like him and whatnot. And he's a good actor.
Yeah.
So just the fact that like that was done great. And like I said, the CGI of all the powers, because my biggest thing is I find always when you have these ensembles,
Metamorpho making the sun, baby. That was
everything
stuff like that. Yeah.
usually one person suffers
Yeah.
when you do that. Like through all the example, even like Halle Berry in the X-Men. Oh, lightning comes. So you're like, that's like lightning footage people used like 5 years ago. You didn't use anything special where
Right.
you put the money towards the Cyclops blasts and the Wolverines and the whatevers, you know?
Yeah.
And this one, the fact that the CGI is spread out properly, equally, and that like it's very customized to like which Green Lantern's using it, how, where Mr. Terrific is right now and stuff. Like it was just very well done.
Yeah.
Something else I liked about this movie is that they finally I find they're finally using other characters in the universe and they're bringing them in.
Yes.
So I understand that everyone knows this person, that person. It's Harley Quinn. It's another Bat person in the Bat family. It's a super like I like that they used other characters.
Same. Yeah, that's
the universe a little bit, and it's like, hey,
the only character that we've seen live action already was Hawkgirl, right?
Well,
we did see Mr. Terrific. He appeared in the Arrowverse. He was in the Arrow series.
Sorry,
but he was more like
Echo Kellum. Yes, great actor. My apologies. That's true. He did do that.
But here's the thing, right? Like, one thing I want to give a shout out to James Gunn. I also again, kind of like I said about the James Bond stuff. I like that it wasn't, with the exception of Metamorpho, and even at that, not much direction. You guys need to know what his power are. He could make any element.
Yeah.
Why is he here? His son's over there.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. I like that, because they're doing a litmus test to say which ones are going to catch.
Yeah.
The ones that are going to catch, we'll put them in more movies or make their own movie. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Well, there was a series called The Terrifics, and Mr. Terrific was the leader of the group.
Yeah.
So and he was great. Like I felt like he's so smart, everything annoys him. Like Lois's relationship talk and like the dumb questions, like can you close it? Can I close it? Like he's just disgusted with these people.
I could help. I don't need your help.
Yeah, I don't need your help. Like get out of here. Just leave me be. Let me be smart and do my thing.
So
it's like the question. You think I go through your garbage?
That was interesting too. Well, something I remember from the whole DC thing is just Mr. Terrific is the third smartest person in the DC universe, and it's a
Batman and Lex.
Batman and Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
but apparently now it's retconned that Mr. Terrific is the smartest person.
Oh, interesting.
Okay,
I didn't know
Which
that.
kind of makes sense. I think that makes more sense. I think he's the smartest person on his own, in the sense that like Lex might be smart, but that's because Lex has been like possessed by things and stuff, and because of that, he learned an infinite amount of knowledge and retained it after they left. Like that's different than being smart on your own.
Yeah. And Batman's just crazy. Yeah, that's I'll say this to end it off. Gunn, good job, and take Batman away from Reeves, please. I don't really want that universe to continue at this point. We waited too long, and at this point, you might as well just do what you need to do with the characters because you are in charge.
Or let's see how far we can go with no Batman.
Hey, that'd be new.
That's just flex everybody else. Like,
I would rather see
people.
Superman right there too.
Yeah.
I would personally rather see a Nightwing movie or a Red Hood movie before.
But I think Jawz is right. How much can you do without what is considered to be one of the most important characters? Introduce him way later. You can. There might be different things. Anyway,
you could also mention him. You don't have to put him on the screen.
Yeah. Jawz, anything you want to tell the people before we bounce?
Check out Transformers Slag and the Toy Marta podcast with Aaron Archer on YouTube.
Bong. Derek, anything you want to say before you head off?
I would just want to thank all three of you gentlemen and Janessa, who's not here. But I'd like to thank you guys for having me on your show. I was, didn't start off strong, but I hope I filled out some key information there. So I really appreciate being on the show. And
too hard on
the questions people have about a certain character that appears towards the end of the movie will be answered in June of 2026. So just sit tight.
Woman of Tomorrow.
She got announced that shit.
Guys, also, I mean, he's humble and he probably won't say anything, but I want to thank Dave always being on the show. Dave is going to be taking a little bit of time off. So this is sad, but it's episode 420, so it's kind of fitting.
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be taking daddy duties.
Congratulations, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
honestly, yeah.
That'll be happening. I mean, I might try and sneak one more, but there's a good chance this is my little bow out. So
this was fun.
No, it was great, and I'm also happy that we got to talk about this movie. Like, it was a nice thing to sign off. I will probably, if I get a chance to watch it, because I don't know if the arrival of my son will allow me to watch Fantastic Four. I might text you guys some notes to say on it.
Yeah, of course.
But no, I'll see you guys in a little bit. It's so long. It's not farewell,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna make me cry here.
And I want to thank everyone who's been in the comments. You, Steph, I've seen you commenting. I appreciate all the comments, man. I want to thank Mark P again. I want to thank Lee J. I want to thank Kevin, Action Figgy Skinny, Mike K. We had a bunch of people in the comments today. And one of my favorite things that happens when people are in the comments is not necessarily when they're talking to us, but when they're talking amongst themselves. Because that means you have things that you want to share with each other about the things we're discussing, and that feels more like a community thing, which is always beautiful to see. So I want to thank you guys all for watching and tuning in. And I was supposed to play this at some point during the show, so I'm going to play it before I end the show, because if not, my contractual agreement will be breached. But I was supposed to go to a break at one point, so I'm going to play this last message and then sign off. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Holiday, and I'm going to be hosting Find Your Voice, Building and Monetizing, a podcast for Black creators on July 19th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Desta. The event is going to be held at 1950 Saint Antoine in Montreal, Quebec, and you can sign up at Eventbrite. The link is in the description of this episode, so when you have a chance, click on it and sign up if you're interested. There's going to be another session in August, and I'll give more information when we get closer to that date. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this episode. We had a blast. We'll be back with another one soon. Peace, everybody.
Peace.